They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness.
What's going on, everybody? You are watching, you are listening to the Matt Madness Network live on YouTube. I'm your host, Alo and Lloyd. Clap it up. Thank you. So, as always, subscribe on all podcast platforms and turn on your post notifications, thumbs up, subscribe, anything for the algorithm. So, what's been going on, guys? So, JC Jane beat Charlotte Flair, so some good out. Steady influence up for a great start. We got TKO asking wrestlers to take 50% pay cut. What? Yep, we'll get to that in a little bit. Also, WWE and New Day part ways. What? Yes. Also, what else is going on in the world? WWE, they're using AI now. What? Can't believe it. All right. So, also, we have Backlash this upcoming Saturday. So, we have that. It may surprise us. I'm not quite looking forward to it at the moment, but when I take a deep dive into it, I might kind of hype myself up about the show. But I'm definitely looking to get into this stream. So, like I said, guys, anything for the algorithm, turn your post notifications. So, if you've been under a rock, the biggest story of the past week has been WWE and the New Day. They have parted ways. So with WWE and New Day parting ways, it was reported that New Day, TKO, well, not even WWE, TKO went to New Day and said they want their contract to be structured, and Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston just basically said no. And that's where you get the whole agree to part ways thing. Now, when it comes to WWE and the New Day, ever since Big E's injury, you can kind of see the writing on the wall. Now, as you guys know with me, you can call me heartless. You can call me, say I don't care about the wrestlers and things like that. But I always have a thing, and I've said this related to sports. It's like, look, you can't keep everybody, and oftentimes that it's just time. It's like you guys have pretty much run your course. And that's how it was with the New Day. You know, they had the heel turn on Big E, which I thought was great about a little over a year ago. Unfortunately, after that, they weren't treated the way they needed to be treated. Their run didn't go the way it should have been. You know, they won the World Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania over the Viking Raiders last year, but nothing really came to it. Nothing was made important. And the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, they essentially became afterthoughts. Me personally, I wasn't thinking about them. Like, you would see them pop up every now and then with Grayson Waller. You would also see Woods go a little viral for his outfits backstage on Raw, but essentially there was nothing else really for the New Day to basically do, especially with losing Big E. It was like, I don't even think a lot of people even remember that New Day were NXT Tag Team Champions at one point a few years back. It's easy to forget. There's not a lot for them to do. The New Day were one of the most decorated trios or / tag teams in WWE history. No matter which combination you got of the New Day, they were successful. They are responsible for some of the best tag team matches of all time. Like I said, they're one of the greatest tag team / trios of all time. I always say this too, like, we have old people syndrome. As we get older, we hold our people we grew up with to heart. For example, for anybody in my era, it's always Hardys, Dudleys, Outlaws, Edge, and Christian. And I've said on the show numerous times, like, look, we might have to take a step back and take off our glasses and, and put the New Day and these new tag teams up in there, because these new tag teams, they have a lot more or the same amount of longevity as these other teams, and they've had better performances than a lot of these other teams. Because the New Day's matches, you can put up against any tag team in history and say the New Day's actually been a better tag team and have better matches and better moments than most of the greatest tag teams in wrestling history. And they actually do. You know, I remember when the New Day first started, it seemed like they were destined to fail. I remember when they came out with the church gimmick, and I believe it was late December of 2014 where they were trying to recruit, and then you saw the vignettes. You're like, what's this? And then it ended up being Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E. And when the group first started, I went to the Royal Rumble in 2015 along with my brother and James, and I was like, this is awful. I really do not know how long this tag team is actually going to last. And they kept going. And what triggered it was the fact that they just embraced the hate instead of trying to making them baby faces. And they would win the tag team titles from Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. And then that's when we got pretty much the birth and popularity of the New Day pretty much began. And then a few months later, I'll go to NXT Brooklyn, the first one in 2015. And then that's where you really saw the popularity of the New Day. Everybody was wearing the booty. I'm not sure if the Bootio shirts was out yet, but everybody was quoting the New Day. I had a video of somebody doing the Big E preaching outside of Barclays Center, and that's where you really saw where New Day actually kind of was actually really over in the company, and they took the ball and ran with it immediately after that. And they also had excellent singles careers. Kofi Kingston, before he was with the New Day, excellent single competitor, also a great tag team wrestler as well, because in wrestling, we always had like these utility guys. You could put them in a tag team with anybody and they would succeed. Kofi Kingston, of course, former tag team champions with Evan Bourne. You might forgot that if you weren't watching in 2011, where Eric Boom, R-Truth, he was a tag team champion with CM Punk as well. Kofi Kingston is one of those guys you could actually put in any situation and will actually succeed. And the New Day, saying they gave us amazing moments in tag team history and from an individual success as well. Tag team matches off the top of my head that I think were fantastic were they had the TLC match with the Usos and Lucha Dragons at TLC 15. A forgotten match was with Y2AJ on an episode of Raw Monday on a random Monday night. That was great. Their feud with the Usos, the Hell in a Cell match with the Usos, fantastic. And then you also talked about the singles careers that came out of this, especially for Kofi Kingston, the Kofi Mania moment. And one of Woods' main things in the New Day was that he wanted to get Kofi a world title, and he ended up getting it. And that was one of the biggest moments in wrestling history. Kofi Kingston becoming the champion at WrestleMania 35, defeating Daniel Bryan. And if it wasn't for the New Day, we would not have that moment for Kofi Kingston. Now, the championship reign was lackluster, but we all know how Vince was back at that time with these title reigns that were not his guys. But another great moment, Kofi Kingston. Big E finally won the championship. Big E will win Money in the Bank as a singles, will win the Intercontinental Championship as a singles. And then the moment that I believe he defeated Bobby Lashley for the title, and we were all ready for Big E to be the WWE champion, and he got that moment. It was derailed because Roman got sick at day one-ish, the premium live event that was going on, and then that forced him to drop the title to Brock Lesnar. But Big E probably had a lot more left in his championship reign, but we'll never actually know how that was going to end up turning out. But also Xavier Woods. I was a big fan of him in TNA as Consequences Creed, and then he came to WWE. I was like, I know that guy. He's really good. Really liked him in TNA. And then the New Day thing came up. It's like, not really feeling this, but again, won me over. Xavier was one of the greatest in the mic. Also brought attention to video gaming with Up Up Down Down, one of the first video game channels on YouTube that got really popular. WWE capitalized on that, and they're also trying to bring him back on a deal similar to where they have Tyler Breeze, where they work on socials. But also Xavier Woods, big thing. He won on the King. He was a former King of the Ring winner as well. Never got that big singles title run like I wish he did. But the New Day did a lot of great things. But when it comes down to it, what else could they do? They've been there for a long time. They were tag team champions a bunch of times. Kofi won the world title. Big E's out. What else could they possibly do? The writing was on the wall a long time ago for the New Day. I hate that this was the way they had to go out over TKO trying to get them to take a pay cut. That's like not a way that you want to hear about anybody going out. But the New Day, they're definitely one of the greatest tag teams and trios of all time. So many memories, so many fun things. Who else would get a unicorn horn over? Who else would get a trombone over? Who else would get bootios over? Walking around yelling booty, getting that over. New Day, they were fantastic. They could sell anything. They could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. Nice Tommy Boy reference. But New Day will definitely be missed, not forgotten. So many memories, so many moments, so many matches, and you already got to assume that they're going to probably essentially end up at AEW because there's a lot for them to actually do in AEW. And that's the team I will actually watch in AEW because there's so many new things for them to go. And we have to understand here that all these greatest tag teams in wrestling history, they're not lifers in WWE. You know, Kofi Kingston, somebody that we thought might be a lifer in WWE eventually, but unfortunately he's not. You know, we have at a point in time, the Hardys were gone, the Dudleys were gone. The Hardys have been gone on multiple occasions. So New Day is no different than New Day is not better than anybody else, any other tag team that we've had in WWE. They're no different. They had their time. They had their moment. They will be back eventually. We will see them. They will not be forgotten. They've been great. How you doing, Rose Cat? Nice to see you. Thanks for watching the stream. So as again, salute to the New Day. Thank you. Now we're going to get to the rest of TKO because TKO that TKO, man, I tell you. So TKO is being reported that they have gone to some bigger name talents and asked them to take up to a 50% pay cut. And over the week, we got a rumor going around that Roman Reigns was removed from all of the June Raws. And for that reasoning was because of TKO asking him to take a pay cut. That was later debunked later that day, saying no, it was an accident. He was advertised. It was an accident. He wasn't supposed to be advertised for those Raws, but we will never know. But it's still being reported that they are asking hired up talent to take up to a 50% pay cut. And when it comes to that, that has pretty much been confirmed by Jonathan Coachman, who is still getting information from people inside WWE. And let's hear what Coach had to say, because this was actually very interesting. When I was doing my research for the show about this, I came across this clip and I thought it was very interesting. So let's listen to Coach talk about WWE asking talent for pay cut and the releases.
Of the day, because I told you I made a call today. I have two very good connections, and I got confirmed that these cuts and these renegotiations, Vince, is an absolute gigantic power struggle backstage between Triple H, Nick Khan, and TKO. Remember we talked about the last couple of weeks who wasn't together during WrestleMania doing interviews, doing media. Remember I talked about that? Triple H and Nick Khan a year ago, they were lockstep. They were like, he's the best. He's the best. He's the best. He's the best. This year, there's none of that. And I got to confirm today that Nick Khan and TKO, because last week, Zelina Vega, she said, I got a call from TKO, not Triple H. That's a big deal that fans need to understand. TKO has no clue who Zelina Vega is. She's a name on a piece of paper with a number next to her name. And Aleister Black is her husband. And Aleister Black is also been cut in the last week, Vince. And if TKO is calling these talents instead of Triple H, that's an even worse look to me. I just think they operate poorly when it comes to a wrestling company.
Yeah, but man, Coach, everything you're describing, it just sounds like there is a chess game going on. I mean, come on. And who seems like they're playing both sides against the middle right now? It looks like Nick Khan.
Sure
That's
does.
what it looks like right now. And it's funny, when you go back to Zelina Vega, I think Zelina Vega would have said Nick Khan called. I think she would have.
Yes.
She said TK. So I'm like, who's calling from TKO? Like, who is that person making those calls?
It's funny you mentioned that. Remember on the last show we had, and we said back in the day it was talent relations calling, and I said, didn't I say, Vince, I don't even know who the hell's in talent relations these days.
Right.
Did you see what happened?
What happened?
They put out a video introducing three members of
I did see that. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How do you tell us you're listening without telling us you're listening?
Yeah.
Like 3 members of talent relations did a video introducing themselves on social media.
All right. So that was the coach and my favorite locale, Vince Russo. So back to TKO asking wrestlers to take pay cuts. Of course, TKO is a business. They run WWE. It's essentially at this point we should just be calling every event TKO WrestleMania, TKO Backlash at this point, because they're a business and it's about money. And I honestly don't think these higher ups even know who some of these people are, as Coach stated. Coach just said that they see a name and a number. It's essentially like at anybody's job in a performance review. You know, your boss knows you, but the higher ups don't know who you are. All they see is what you did wrong, essentially. So that's how TKO views a lot of these people. Now, a lot of the cuts that we had over the past week, there were guys that I pretty much weren't shocked about. But at this point, when you hear about asking people to take pay cuts, it's kind of like, really? Like, what are y'all trying to do? Like, and I believe I saw a report that their justification for it was there are lesser events now. You're not working as much. So it's essentially cut. Since your work's cutting back, your pay should cut back as well. Now, they want to justify that. I don't know any numbers to anything like that. Makes sense. But asking these guys to take these wild pay cuts like this is the NFL is crazy. You know, as an Eagles fan, Howie Roseman, he is the king of general managers, especially finessing the system as far as signing bonuses, working the salary cap. But this is wrestling. There's no salary cap. Of course, you're trying to generate more revenue as possible, but there's no salary cap. You don't have to technically worry about cap casualties, things like that, or dead cap numbers or anything like that. You don't. If you release somebody, you give them the 90 day, you give them 9 days pay or whatever the amount is, and they keep it pushing and they move on to the next thing. But this is strange to see because you don't hear about this in wrestling anymore. Like the biggest story that we had about this was when Vince asked Bret Hart to take a pay cut because he just couldn't afford to pay him. But this is something that we technically don't really hear about in wrestling at all, asking your wrestlers to take pay cuts. And it's interesting. And you could say TKO is like trying to like, they're kind of killing the business or whatever. But like, as I always say, I don't see it that way because as I always say, you cannot keep everybody. WWE was doing these cuts post WrestleMania every year, regardless, even before TKO. But it was also interesting to hear that when Coach did say, and Zelina said on her phone call, usually Triple H or whoever we're called, but this time it was TKO. So TKO was looking at the books and they're saying like, okay, well, we're getting rid of so-and-so. It was first, and Zelina Vega has been released before, and she knows from experience and from hearing from her friends and coworkers' experiences that it's never usually that way, not from TKO. So we'll have to actually see what happens with this, but this is something that's very interesting, and hopefully there's not a lot more releases, and I hope nobody's really taking a 50% pay cut. Because look, I'm telling you right now. Look, you tell me to sit there and take a 50% pay cut. This is all you're gonna get from me.
What?
That's all you're gonna get from me, and then you're gonna get this.
Shut up, bitch.
Thank you. Ain't nobody taking a 50% pay cut. I'm not. That's crazy to me. That really is. It is completely ridiculous to me. So we'll have to actually see what happens when it comes to that, because that is completely ridiculous. Now, also, while we were away during the week, more ridiculousness from WrestleMania weekend popped up. So allegedly, not allegedly, but this did happen, so it's not alleged. So there was a fan who called the police on CM Punk, believe it or not. And we have the phone call, and I will play it for you guys right now.
And when I got close, the star CM Punk pushes me and chops me for my chest.
How long ago did this happen?
12:31 in the morning.
Okay, and it was an employee for WWE that pushed you?
No, the star itself, CM Punk.
Okay, and do you need medical attention?
Not right now, thank you.
Okay, and the person that pushed you, what is his name?
Well, I just know that he's the fighter, CM Punk. I do not know the legal name.
Okay, is he white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
What?
How old is he?
30, 40, maybe 50.
How tall is he?
Like 175, approximately.
Okay, is he skinny, medium, or heavy build?
Heavy.
Okay, and where did this happen?
Inside the lobby of MGM Motel here in Las Vegas.
And what color were his shirt and pants?
Yeah, I think I see here the picture that it's gray sweater, gray hat with black pants, black briefcase.
Is it a baseball cap that he's wearing?
No, it's like a gray hat with a frontal tag, like for the cold climate.
Okay, so like a winter hat?
Winter hat, yes.
Okay, do you know if he was drunk or high or unknown?
So I wouldn't be able to say for sure, right? I'm not a specialist on that topic. I only think that he might.
He should have said no, he's straight edge, but let's continue.
Be either drunk or high, but I can appreciate on one of the pictures.
So unknown?
I do not know per se, again, but his face was red and his eyesight was full of anger.
Okay, and did he have any weapons on him?
None. He only had a briefcase on his left hand.
All right. So that was the phone call of CM Punk getting into it with the fan at WrestleMania in a hotel again. And I will talk about this again, like I said last week when I talked about the fans. First, let me play this.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Please tell me. Why are y'all so entitled, bro? I just don't get it. It's crazy to me that you guys just, again, I said this last week, that you guys just think that y'all could just stalk these people because you think, because you like them and you support them, and that you could just bombard them and act, and then like bombard them and shove pictures and phones in their faces all the time. Like I showed the video of Bayley, AJ, and Punk defended them last week, and you cannot blame CM Punk for reacting the way he reacted. These people, these wrestlers, they're staying at these hotels. You're shoving your phones in their face for some kind of footage. And the worst thing is that nowadays is the fact that everything's recorded. Your every move is watched. So you really can't do anything. And the second you do something like that, you're in trouble or you're going viral. And then it gets posted, and then you get a bunch of comments saying that, oh my God, well, CM Punk should have signed the pictures, or they're celebrities, they have the right. Then you'll get the people who make sense and have logic, like me, who are like, no, like these people, they're busy. They've got a bunch of people following them. I'm not going to be one of these people. You know, I'm going to get what's coming to me, and I'm going to get my picture eventually. But like I'm not going to harass these people. I'm not going to follow them to the room. Booker T had an instance where somebody followed him to the bathroom. Like, come on, like the bathroom, like, bro, like for real, like honestly, like the bathroom. That is crazy. I also told a story about when me, Eric, and Prep were in Chicago at All In. We met the Elite at the bar, and one part I forgot was that we also rode the elevator with Chelsea Green and Britt Baker. And we rode the elevator, didn't really say anything. Not like, like it was like impromptu. Like I guess they were just hopping from room to room or whatever to see their friends. And then, we just kept it player in the elevator, and was like, when they were about to get off, we just said, have a great show, guys. Not harassing anybody at all. But this got to stop, man. This got to stop. And then the fact that you guys just like really just think that y'all like deserve like their attention, and you're just following them over and over again is crazy to me. It really is. It really is crazy to me. All right, who we got here? Correct me if I butcher your name. Mar Wagamal 5211. He asked me Roman or Rollins. Here's your answer, babe.
Acknowledge me.
the tribal chief. Like we just got to do it better as a community, man. Because this is not good. This is not good. I'm not sure what happened after this, but we should not have fans calling wrestlers and they're not even telling whole stories. The story is he touched me because I want to leave him alone. We got to do better, bro. We just do. We got to do better as a community because this is ridiculous. So we have Backlash coming up this Sunday. Well, Saturday on ESPN Unlimited, and we also have 2 matches that will be streamed, that will be shown live on ESPN2 as well. So we're going to start. What we got here? All right. Gotcha, Marwin. I appreciate you for joining the stream. Thank you. So the first match that we're going to go over at Backlash is for the heavyweight championship of the world. So Roman Reigns will be defending his heavyweight championship of the world against Jacob Fatu. Now, me personally, I think I've discussed this as well over the last few weeks, is bloodline fatigue. There's been a lot of bloodline stuff for the longest time. And it was successful when it first started, but at this point, it's becoming nostalgia. It's the thing that WWE always continues to go back to. Now, this is a different matchup than what we usually get, but we have some involvement from Solo and, well, what's left of the MFTs, which is Tala Tonga, and Jacob had a thing with Tama Tonga. And then we had an interaction with the Usos and what's left of the MFTs on SmackDown Friday night. And we're seem to be back at somewhat of a bloodline story because it's about the family again. Now, I'm not mad about the whole Roman Jacob storyline because I think they're actually really good, because if you've been following WWE, you know Jacob Fatu's story, how he was homeless, he was struggling, been to jail. Drew McIntyre told a lot of this story in their feud. And at this point, Jacob Fatu is not saying he doesn't want it. He needs what Roman Reigns has. He needs the money. He needs the title. He needs the shoes. He needs the Rolex. Everything that Roman Reigns has, Jacob Fatu needs. And the way that they're telling the story with the tongue and death grip of how and putting it over how it is one of the most dangerous moves in wrestling, and that's like basically a forbidden move. You pull that out when necessary. Fits right in with what Jacob Fatu is selling. He's saying, "Look, Roman, I need what you got, family or not. I need it." And he'll do whatever he has to do to get it. And it's a short turnaround. I wish the story was going on for a little longer, but I like where we are at this point. I think this match is going to be awesome. I think that Jacob Fatu will take Roman Reigns to the limit. I do not want to see any involvement from Solo and the Usos, but I know I will. But this match is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to this match, and I cannot wait. I think ultimately Roman Reigns does retain the heavyweight championship of the world.
Acknowledge me.
But I also said this summer will be the changing of the guard. We will see Roman Reigns in the ring with the new faces. Jacob Fatu, they've had interactions in the past, but Jacob Fatu will be the first one a part of Roman Reigns' summer run, where Roman Reigns faces his new talent and WWE begins to build for the future. So I am going with Roman Reigns to retain the heavyweight championship of the world. Next up, Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker will go one-on-one at Backlash. We have Bron Breakker return from injury at WrestleMania. He called Seth Rollins his match against Gunther. And I'll say this. Again, this was a built-in story over the last few months. Both guys ended up getting injured in the process. I personally thought that they would have went one-on-one in an unsanctioned match. We did get an unsanctioned match, but it was not between these two men. Seth versus Gunther was a complete banger, and I thought the inclusion of Bron Breakker was inevitable, and it actually did happen. It also added to the match because it helped. It somewhat protected Rollins from that match with Gunther because that match was awesome. And I will say this about Bron Breakker: with the up and coming Obafemi and the rise of Trick Williams, Bron Breakker, you can kind of say, in my opinion, might have been forgotten as one of the next pillars in WWE, because coming into the Royal Rumble season, we were talking about Bron Breakker being the guy. Like, he is going to be the one to beat Roman Reigns at SummerSlam and be the new face of the company. That's what we were talking about. But right now, when I don't think anybody's singing that song anymore because of the rise of Obafemi and the surprising rise of Trick Williams. We talk about the next guys. Bron Breakker, when the minute NXT 2.0 started, we were like, that's the guy. And I still think Bron Breakker is going to be a player. I do think him versus Obafemi will end up being a WrestleMania main event in the future, a SummerSlam main event in the future. The match we will see for years to come. That might be his steamboat. But Bron Breakker has to build himself back up to that because Obafemi's been awesome. And I said Trick Williams, I think he's going to be the next transcendent star in the business. So this feud it has legs to it, but with such a quick turnaround into the pay-per-view, we haven't really gotten much. I've seen Seth Rollins get speared. I can't count how many times since WrestleMania. It's good to see that we have Rollins trying to recruit the Street Profits, but I love the Street Profits don't trust him because the reason we have the vision is because of Seth Rollins. And the Profits can't trust him, and Rollins has to earn their trust, and the vision is still out there lurking. But I do think this match will be awesome. I do think this is going to be a great treat for free TV. But I got to tell you, WWE's let me try the right word. They're trying to sell you to buy ESPN Unlimited, and I don't blame them for putting this match on there because this is a match that you use to sell something. But the nonsense, you get 3 matches after the first 2 matches. Come on. Exactly. Come on, bro. Really. For real. 3 matches after that. So you're paying $30 for 3 matches. $30, really. And you only want to probably see 1. Honestly. But back to the match. I think the match is going to be fantastic. I really do. I think these two will have great chemistry. I thought it was great to see Bron Breakker really cut a promo because he cut the promo on Rollins a few weeks ago saying, you would come out here and cut the same promo. Me and Bronson Reed would just sit there and watch. Well, he did the same thing every single week. It was great hearing Bron Breakker talk, go face to face with the top guy, and I enjoyed every second of that. And I was quickly reminded that Bron Breakker is going to be a player in this company for years to come. But on this night, I think we're going to get Rollins win. I think the Street Profits end up trusting Rollins and helping him win this match because you already know that Logan Paul and the rest of the division are going to get involved. So I think Bron Breakker eventually wins the feud, but in this match in particular, I'm going with Seth Rollins to defeat Bron Breakker. United States Championships on the line. Trick Williams will defend against Sami Zayn. I'm glad Lil Yachty has signed with WWE as Trick's manager because we were talking about celebrity involvement on the WrestleMania preview episode, and we were like, I'm fine with Yachty because this matches, and it does, and they have great chemistry. They vibe off each other, amazing, and it's like Trick was still the heel post WrestleMania after cutting that promo with Lil Yachty in the ring, saying how U.S. Open challenges is over and things like that. But then Sammy turns heel the following week by beating up the Gingerbread Man. RP to Gingerbread Man, by the way. So I'm enjoying this. Like I said, I just talked about Trick Williams being the next transcendent star of the business. And maybe the crowd has turned on Sami Zayn. They want Trick because even at WrestleMania, it was all about Trick. And I think that will continue to be all about Trick. And then when you go from here, because you can't forget about Carmelo Hayes, because the reason Trick Williams is the U.S. champion in fought Sami Zayn at WrestleMania was because of Trick Williams. So I think the Carmelo Hayes Trick Williams feud will get reignited going into the next month, because WWE, they also have an interesting month because, for example, I thought that WWE would have, for example, Fatal Influence and against Charlotte, Rhea, and Alexa at Backlash, but we're not getting that. What we're getting is that match on SmackDown. We're getting something else, but then I realized WWE had 3 live events, 3 PLEs or 3 premium events this month with Saturday night's with Backlash, Saturday night's main event, and Clash in Italy. But I definitely see Trick Williams retain the championship here. I see Trick Williams retaining the championship and moving on to Carmelo Hayes. And like I said, Trick Williams starting to make him. Cannot say enough enough about him. Now, we got let's look at the chat real quick. We have WWE Fanboy 213 says Trick is winning easily. And I'm going to butcher this. ISD2M. Thank you for watching the stream, everybody, in the comment section. So now we're going to go to Io Sky and Asuka. This is interesting because this, in my research for this has been going on since late summer, September, and they've kind of come and went with this. And from my memory and following up doing my research, the most important part of this isn't here, and that's Kyrie, because she was released. So with Kyrie being released, this kind of feels incomplete. But I will say this, the fact that they had those video packages over the last few weeks, Asuka's backstage segments, I thought were great. I thought the sit-down interview that they had was great. And there's a rumor going around, speculation, whatever you want to call it, that Io Sky will be brought in to finish off the storyline and make it a wholesome moment, which it should be. Because Asuka, in those promos in the last couple of weeks, she has portrayed herself even more scarier. Because this storyline, like I said, they've been coming and going from it. And Kyrie was terrified of Asuka. Even like they won the tag titles a few months back, they would drop him to Rio, but it's like, all right, we're back to this now. And I'm looking forward to this match. One thing I always do like in these feuds are when you speak a different language between two people and that you speak your native language. I always do like that. Like I talked about that in the Stephanie Backker and Liv Morgan thing with the inclusion of Dom and Stephanie Backker not having the best speaking background, and integrating Dom, and Dom will be able to translate to Liv what she's saying. And then Liv started taking shots at Stephanie in Spanish. So I did enjoy this back and forth between Asuka and Io. And I think this might actually be an underrated match on the card. I really do. I think there's a lot here that we can go off of. And I think that we will get the return of Kairi Sane for the night. And I think Io Sky will get rid of Asuka at Backlash. So I think this is the match that we all should look out for during the weekend. And I'm looking forward to this match now. So I'm gonna go with Io Sky to defeat Asuka. And the final match on the card, there is no reason why me or anybody should be this intrigued by this match, because I thought Fatal Influence deserved this spot, but these segments between Danhausen and The Miz have been fantastic. You will easily forget that how entertaining The Miz actually can be, because he's been around for so long, but he is a gem for WWE. And pairing him with Danhausen has been money. It's worked out 100%. And the whole wedding thing over in Vegas with Danhausen cursing Maurice was great. Him showing them about the house was great. Jumping in the pools and Miz throwing the stuff in Maurice's face was fantastic. Danhausen has knocked it out the park. I could have cared less about Danhausen in AEW, but Danhausen has been fantastic. He's been quite the acquisition. I thought he would have came in WWE and been an absolute joke, but he's been such a great acquisition for the company and for television, and he is over as hell with the audience. He really is. And I can't get enough of Danhausen. Now he is having a mystery partner, and if you do not want to know who his mystery partner is, because there is a rumor going around from a valid source, I would say, that if you don't want to know who his partner potentially could be, just put me on mute for a second. But reportedly, it's CM Punk, and I think that'll be actually good. A good pairing and a fun pairing for the night. So that's what I have to say about that. But Danhausen definitely been great. Danhausen has been excellent. I can't say enough about Danhausen. He's been fantastic, and he's put a smile on my face. He's made me laugh, and everything he's actually done. Also with the Stephen A. Smith thing with the Knicks and things like that, I've enjoyed that. Knicks up 2-0, by the way, and he also uncursed the Knicks last week. I had a comment about that, and yeah, I recorded that clip before he actually uncursed the Knicks, and he got paid for it. So I'm gonna go with Danhausen, his mystery partner, to defeat The Miz and Kit Wilson. Yeah, it would be cool if it's Joe Hendry, but I do not think it is. WWE fanboy. All right, so I think that's all for Backlash, guys. That is everything we got. We went through the entire card. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for everybody commenting. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot when you guys comment on these streams, because you guys are a part of the show. If you guys have any questions anytime, feel free to drop them in the chat. I will definitely answer them. But WWE fanboy says Roman Reigns is going to retain. I do agree with that as well. But like I said, if you guys anytime are in the chat and you have a question, want to know something, feel free to ask. No problem whatsoever. Thank you, WWE fanboy. Much appreciated. I really do appreciate you subbing to the channel. Check out some of the older content. as well. I have a video. I'm trying to be more consistent, have you guys stuff every week. You guys gonna get a video pretty much every day from me. When there is a stream, everything will be chopped up into clips for you guys. So I appreciate that, WWE fanboy. Before I go, any questions from anybody in the chat? Any questions? Any questions? All right. I don't see anything. So that looks like it might be a night, guys. So as always, subscribe to all podcast platforms for your best experience. Make sure to watch on YouTube. Turn your post notifications, subscribe, like, comment, anything from the algorithm. So for Aaron Lloyd, I will see you guys soon.
Got him now, put him down right now, hit him with the palm handle. Tuning up the band, y'all don't understand. Fist of Superman, it's a SummerSlam. Here we go again. Fans marking man, I hate my balls. Shut the Vince McMahon, it ain't safe to land off the cell. Fans love it, ain't hard to tell. Talking madness, awesome. Well, what I'm cooking, man, y'all off the smell.